There are 10 principles of organizations. The first one is principle of common objective. So all the organizations will try to achieve some common goal for the purpose they are forming. The principle of specializations, the manpower, the employees are recruited in the roles specialized by the specific people. Like suppose you are in finance, you're expert in finance, you specialize in finance, he'll be taken into the finance department. Suppose there's expert in sales activity, the sales manager, expert in marketing, so he'll be recruited in marketing. Suppose expert in operation activities, he'll be in production department. Suppose is recruited in interested in HR specialist is be taken under the HR department. Then the third is principle of coordination. As we know that all the activities, business activities, departmental activities should should be dependent on each other, and they should be coordinated so that they can achieve a common goal. That means one department is dependent on other departments. So all departments are interdependent and interlinkaged in the different departments. So their activities are coordinated in such a way that they will achieve the common goal. Next, the fourth one, the principle of authority responsibility. As said, responsibility cannot be delegated, cannot be transferred, but authority can be transferred. You can transfer. That means a part of power can be given to the subordinates so that they can perform the work easily. As without authority, so we cannot undertake a responsibility. So both should be given to an employee so that both should coexist. So we'll discuss some cases in the classroom. Next one is span of control. So what is a span of control? Now suppose a manager, how many people, how many subordinates he can control? 5, 6, or 10. Suppose a manager, how many subordinates he can control? Subordinates. The number of subordinates the manager can control. So it was stated that a manager can control 10 to 15 people, 10 to 15 subordinates. Some have designed traditional management says that he can control only till 5 subordinates. 5 subordinates. 5 is the number according to traditional view, but according to modern view, we can control 10 to 15. And moreover, maximum a manager can control and look after the task of 20 subordinates. This was the modern management. But the modern management says that he can control at least it ranges to 10 to 20 number of subordinates. That is called the span of control. What happens if there are more subordinates? The work will suffer due to slow communication with the superior. Next principle is the principle of unity of man. Suppose, I'll clear it. Suppose I'm a subordinate. Okay, I'm a subordinate. Right? Suppose it was designed that it was mentioned in that organization that I should report to 2 managers. Okay. I should report to 2 managers. What happens? What happens? Okay. That means I'm answerable to 2 managers. What happens? There will be confusion, a lot of chaos. The work will suffer. So Principally, it was said that in any organization, one subordinate has to be answerable to only one boss only, one superior only, or one manager only. If he answerable to more than one manager, more than one boss, but there's a lot of confusion, the work will suffer, okay? Inefficiency will creep up. So the principle of unity of command says that always a subordinate is answerable to only one manager or to one boss. This is how the principle of unity of command says. The principle of simple structure, organization structure, what it says that the structure uh, should be convenient. It should not be complex. So there will be conflicts among the structures, the overlapping and duplication of efforts. The structure should be simple enough to understand. The structure should be designed in such a way that everyone should know his or her duties in the organization so that there should not be overlapping or duplication of the task of the job. The next principle is flexibility. See, it should be flexible. The organization should be flexible according to changing circumstances, changing situations, because change is inevitable. According to changes, organizations have to move on. Next principle is the scalar principle. We will discuss at the end. Principle of efficiency. We discuss what is efficiency. Organization should be efficient, not only effective. What is efficient? Doing the things correctly. In other words, minimizing the cost, maximizing the output. In other words, output by input should be more than one. Okay? With the same cost, with the same expenditure, you have to produce maximum output, quality products with minimum cost or a reasonable cost is a principle of efficiency. Now come back to scalar principle. Coming back to scalar principle, the principle says, next slide. The principle says the scalar chain. What is scalar chain? Communication is a crucial aspect of any organization. It will be upward communication, downward communication. The principle of scalar chain revolves around the flow of communication from management to the lowest rank, that is a downward communication. Scalar chain is a chain of all superiors, all supervisors, okay, from the top management to the person working the lowest rank. Okay, is a flow of communication channel from one person to other person. For example, in this diagram, now D is a subordinate. D has to report to C. C has to report to B. The same case to A. A is the topmost manager. D is the lowest working person. Or D is a worker. So if D has to communicate to A, he has to go to C, B, and E. Similarly, from G has to communicate to A, G has to communication to should flow from G to F, F to E, and E to A. Similarly, there's the upward communication and downward communication. Suppose if you want to avoid delays, suppose you want to be faster in taking decisions at the same level, even D should be able to communicate at the same level, at the lowest level, D should be able to communicate with G. And this is what is called gang plan. So it is a chain of all superiors or supervisors from the top management to the lowest person working the lowest rank. So this chain should be established, the structure should be established such a way that communication should be fast enough so that we can achieve the stated objectives. A person should be able to communicate at the same level, at the same department, from one person to other person department. So if D can communicate the information, if D can communicate with G at the same level, that is called the gang plan. So please remember this concept, scalar principle. or scalar chain, we can say both are same. It is a chain of communication flow channel from top level to lower level and vice versa. If it is upwards, upward communication, if it is downwards, the downward communication. Okay. So the flow, the task to be done will be given by the top level management to the lower level management, the downward communication. And the task of doing the task, the results, the output is flow, output is confirmed. Output, the flow communication will be for the upward communication from lowest to top. This is for the scalar chain. Then we have based on relationship, formal organization and informal organization. What is formal organization? Formal organization, formal is nothing but it is called a structured organization designed to achieve a formal goal. Structured means positions are mentioned. At top level, we have directors and CEOs, and middle level the departmental managers, and we are low level as supervisors and workers. Okay, it is designed, it is a hierarchical structure, and it has position, authority, and responsibility at each level is clearly defined. So there is a definition of authority, responsibility is clearly, the roles are defined, the role of each structure is defined. The authority and responsibility is defined at each level. And there is a proper coordination among various activities to achieve organization goals. So nothing but in short, it is a formal structure. It is a formal structure. It is a formal structure. It's formal structure designed to achieve a common objective, and it has position, it has authority, it has responsibility, right? At each level, it is defined. These three, position, authority, responsibility, is designed at each level in the form of organization, right? And it has proper coordination among different people, different level of departments to achieve a common goal. What is informal? Informal, it is not a structured work, unstructured work. Informal, it is unstructured. It is a based on, they form this organization based on personal preferences, personal attitudes, likes and dislikes. And in this informal, there are no rules and regulations, no procedures to be followed, not created by anyone. It was created on its own. Whereas formal is created by the organization, the informal is created by the person's likes and dislikes, person's attitudes. Now, the same thing we can continue. So there is no specific chain of communication in informal, whereas in formal we have prescribed communication channel. So the formal structure, formal organization is a stable one, whereas an informal is an unstable one. Okay, and this informal is or informal organization based on human emotions and sentiments. Suppose in your class you like some friends, you don't like some friends, so you don't talk to them. I've seen so many times. So you form a group, informal group, like-minded people. Okay, and that is called the informal organizations. Okay, so there is no predetermined objective in informal. When formal, it's created to achieve some predetermined goals, the common objectives or specific goals. So this is what is related to formal, informal, and the principles of coordination. So have a nice day. Thank you.